was just waiting for the rest to join. So it's only Caro who has not joined so far. So she says she's having some internet problems. So let me admit her. Okay, welcome, Caro. We are just starting.
Thank you.
Okay. So yesterday we looked at pivot tables and how you can actually use it to analyze data. Hope by now you can comfortably work with pivot tables and you can analyze your data using it. So I told you to practice using the data set that I had given you for the assignment and also using the sales data that I had sent when we were starting the course. So it is actually a very huge data set that when you use it when you analyze it, you'll actually grasp all these concepts that we are covering in here. So today we want to look at something new. That is, we want to look at lookup and reference functions in Excel. So what these functions really do, they help you to retrieve data in either the worksheet or from a different workbook or from a different maybe cell within the same worksheet. So let me share my Excel. So you can just open the sales data that we normally use so that we can cover these lookup and reference functions in detail. Confirm whether you can see my screen from your end. Can you see my screen? Okay, so that's great. So the lookup, we have various lookup functions in Excel, and these are the major lookup functions that we do have. So I know you are aware we are having functions like VLOOKUP, we have HLOOKUP, XMatch, Index, and Match. All these lookup functions enable you to retrieve data from a sheet. So what you actually need to master in these lookup functions, you have to master the syntax, and you must understand in detail what each lookup function does and how it can help you retrieve data from a different worksheet or the same worksheet or from a different workbook. So let us begin first by looking at the first lookup function, that is the match. So the match function actually is used to search for a specified item in a range of cell, and then after finding that item, it returns the relative position of that item in a given range. So for example, here in this data set that I have, I just selected this data for regions. Yeah. So for example, when you want to maybe find the position of this value in this range, you can use the match function to find the relative position of that value. Then we have the index. So the index is used to retrieve a value by specifying the row number and the column number. So what index does, it works like, I know you know coordinates. So when you have the y and x coordinate, so where they intersect, so that value is what the index function is used to find. So let us illustrate the index and match function, how you can use them. So I'll start over by the index function. So supposing now you have this data for regions like this, yeah, and you want to find the sales made in central region in the month of April. Yeah. So you see now central here is in this data array, it's in row 3. For example, if I select this array like this, yeah, we can see that central is in row 3. So you're counting 1, 2, 3. I'm not counting the rows from the first row of my data set. I'm counting the rows from where I have highlighted my range, this range. Yeah. So suppose you are asked to find the sales made in the central region in the month of May. So assuming you have a very big data set and you want to retrieve that value. So the best function that you can use is the index function, because the index function uses the row and the column as its argument in the syntax. So for example, let me just highlight this row for central. Let me give it that yellow color, and then I highlight the column for May, this one. Let me give it a different color. So you see, like, where the yellow and the green color intersect. So that is the value that we want to retrieve using the index function. So what was the sales made in central region in the month of April? So let's try doing that using the index function. So let's say it's in the month of April. And then it's in the central region, but in the month of April. So let's do this by using index. So type is equals to index. So when you type is equals to index, the first argument that appears is the array. So array, this is the range of values where you want to retrieve the value that you are searching. So an array, we can specify the array that our value is in. So let's take the array like that. So that is our array. After we've specified the array, just put F4 to lock these cells. After doing that, the second argument you will be asked is the row number. So in this array that you have selected, yeah, at which row does your values lie? So it was row number 3, and then it will ask you for the column. So the column you just count. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's column number 5. So here make sure you've picked all the array like that. So it's B9 to Q12. So it's Q9, B9. This is B9, Q12. My Q12 is here. This is my bit Q12. Then the row that I'm searching is row number 3, column number 5. So after you've done that, just close the bracket. And that's your answer. That is the sales that were made in the month of April in Central region. So one thing that you should note here is that you must specify the row number and the column number for you to be able to retrieve the value that you want. So specify the array, that's the first step, and then the row number and the column number. So I want you to try the same. Maybe you find the cells for May in the West region. So the West region is here and the month of May is here. So I want you to use the index and the index function to retrieve the cells made in the month of May. Have you first understood the first example? I can see Ruth. How about you, Winnie and Keegan?
There's a place I've not understood well.
Which one
The
specifically?
the place where you have picked the rows and the columns.
Okay, let me just repeat. So we were looking for the cells that were made in the Central region in the month of April.
Mm.
So the first thing when you are using the index function is to specify the array. Yeah. So you can take an array, we can say an array is just like your map where your values are, where your values lie.
Mm.
So let me select the array. I select the whole of this array
Okay.
like that. Just put F4 to lock the cells, then comma. After you specify the array or your table, you have to indicate the row number. It's the second argument after the array. So the central region is in the third row from the array that we've just highlighted. So you put row number 3, and then the column number. So the column number you count from your array. Don't count from A, B, and C. Just count from where you highlighted your array. So it is column number 5. So when you see column number 5, it's in the month of April. So just put 5 and can close the bracket. So you've now specified the row number and the column number respectively. Then close the bracket. It's like that. So whenever you have told, maybe your manager tells you, now what was the sale made in maybe a certain month from this region, and suppose you are having such data in a table format like this, you can be able to retrieve using the index function. So try doing the same for the sales made in West region in the month of May.
Fred,
Yes?
the three is representing what?
3 is representing the row number.
Row. Oh, so we're counting from region. Region East Central, like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so don't count the rows from row 1, eh?
Okay.
Just count from where your array is, where you have highlighted your array. So our array is from region. The whole of this table is our array, like this.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's our array. So try doing the same for West region, the month of May. Are you done?
Yes.
Kigan? Ruth Ngigi?
I'm done.
Ruth, you're okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay. So we can be able also to find, let me try this other example. The amount of sales made in the West region in the month of October. So here is October, and here is the region, West region.
Please share your screen.
Okay, sorry, I had stopped sharing. Hope you can see now the screen. So let's find the sales made in the month of October in the West region is equals to index. Then you highlight the table array like that. Put F4. Then row number. So which row number is this? West region. Just count from the top. That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh.
Yes. How about the month October? Which column is it? Column number?
11.
Okay, 11. Yeah, I see it's 28,500. Yeah, so for you to use the index function, just select the array and specify the row number and the column number, and you'll be able to retrieve the value that you are looking for. So I think we are done with the index. So let's go to match. So what match does, it is used to, for example, if you have a value like, for example, this value of 41,930, and you want to find its position in this array. So you can use the match function to retrieve the position. So what match does, it actually just gives you the position of that element in a given array. So let's try using this example. For example, I want to retrieve this value. So this value is actually the sale made in December. The sale made in December from the central region. So you want to know the position of this value in this array, that is the central region. So what we do, we just type is equals to match. So then after you type the function, the first argument is the lookup value. So the value that you are looking for is this. And then after that, the second argument is the lookup array. Where do you want to look this value from? So we want to look this value from this row, that is the central region, like that. Just put F4, F4, then close the bracket. So I get 13. So this value is position 13 in that array, this array. Yeah. So we've actually retrieved the position of that value. Let's try maybe 41,930. 41,930. So 41,930 is the sale made in August in the East region. So is equals to match. So match. So we are looking for the position of this value. Put a comma. Then highlight the array. Highlight the array like that. Put F4. Put F4. So it's position number 7. So I want you to try this. Retrieve the position of this value, that is 108,445. That is cell made in central region. the month of June, 108,445. So use the match function to retrieve the position of that particular item. If you have a challenge, kindly let me know. Are you done? Okay, see, majority of you are done. So
Fred, just a minute.
yeah,
I seem lost somewhere. Can you kindly repeat?
so for the example that I've just given you,
No, the previous one.
okay,
Uh,
so here we were retrieving the position of this value. It is a sale that was made in August in the East region. Yeah, so first step, type the function that is equals to match, and then the value that you are looking for, that is 41,930, it is in cell B22. Then the other thing, specify the array where that value lies. So the array is in the from the East region, so you highlight the whole of that array. That is from B10 to Q10. B10 to Q10. Q10 is here. Q10. So you highlight the whole of that range and then just close bracket and hit enter.
let me try.
Try that.
Fred, kindly click on the match, the answer that you got.
This one.
Yes, I've noted that you're not putting the. When you do the match at the end, it's asking about either the exact match, similar to, or something. The match.
The match function.
Yeah, if you can see the whole formula, there's something called the match type at the end.
You see that is in the, it's in curly bracket, square bracket.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you see that in Excel, it means that is optional. So it's not a must.
Because for the one that you gave us, the answer that the question that you gave us,
Yeah.
if I don't put it, I don't know why I get a 12. When I put it, I get a 7. And 7 is the correct one.
Yeah, 7 is the correct one. Yeah.
Yeah, but when I omit the last match type, it gives me a 12.
Yeah, but you see, that is optional. You don't have to include the match type, because what we are interested here in is we're interested with the row number and the column number, because we are just trying to retrieve the value that is in the intersection of the row and the column. So we just want that value. So the rest of the argument that for the match type is optional, and we don't need it here right now.
Sorry, are we choosing the column or just the row?
The row and the column.
Okay, then please repeat. I think I missed something. Please do
Okay.
it again.
So for the index,
No, match. The match one. Index, I'm okay.
Okay. For the
Yeah.
match, we just choose the value that we are looking for and specify the array in which that value is found. So in our case here, for 41930, so it's actually in the central region. So that will be our array. So that whole row for the central region will be the array. So we will take central, that is from B11 to Q11. So B11 is here and Q11 is probably at the end here, the last cell. So that is your array that your value lies. So let me just repeat, maybe so that it becomes clear. So is equals to match. So the match value is this, it's in cell B22. And then after that, the second argument is lookup array. So these are the lookup value and the lookup array. You must specify those arguments. The match type we can leave it because it's optional and it's not a must that you include the match type here. So specify now the lookup array. So the lookup array is this. That just put F4 here, another F4, and close the bracket. Yes, it's 7. Have you now understood?
Yes, that's okay. Just try with the number that you gave us for the assignment, 108,445.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 108, 445. So is equals to match. Type the formula. Is equals to match. And then the value that we are looking is this. And then specify the array. The array is this. Let's put F4 to log this. Put F4 and then just click enter. It's position 12.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's gonna show 12, but the answer is not supposed to be 12. It's supposed to be 7.
Okay, let me Just see. What about this? Was the first one correct? That was 13, eh?
Yes.
Let me see if there's something wrong.
But Fred, either way, I've done the two ways without
Yeah,
putting locking, that is without using F4,
yeah,
just highlighting the array, and
yeah.
I'm getting still the same answer, that is 12.
12. That's wrong.
Okay, try.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to see maybe where the problem is, or maybe I try another value and see. Let me try for the East region for the month of June. So I think for June is 30,000. Okay. So is equals to match. So this is the match value. Then the array is this. And then press F4, F4, and then close the bracket. It's turning 7. And you see they are just in the same column as 108,445.
Yeah, and I noted once you put in the match type to specify exact match, it
Yeah.
gives the correct answer. Once you leave it open, it gives the December one, that is 141.
So for example here, let us try maybe 108,445. 108,445 is equals to match. So this is the match value, comma. Then I highlight the array. Let's put here F4. So when you put exact match,
Yes.
let's see what we get. When you put exact match, you get the right answer,
Yeah.
7. But what about if you put 1? I think now maybe it was assuming the default one for is it 1 stands for less than. What about, so but we want an exact match. That's what we wanted.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think the best thing is actually to actually specify the match type, because you see that is a special case scenario, because when you try using for example, the East region, even without specifying whether it is an exact match or not, you were still getting the correct answer.
My suspicion is, but I'm just guessing, it's
Yeah.
because maybe on the central region we have so many numbers starting with 111, like 101, 11, 141. I don't know. Is there something that could be causing that? Because when you say less than 1, it shows the 11,000. I think when you say greater than 1, it says 141. It's something with 1, yeah, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe, but I'll look into that. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Fred, kindly look into it because I've
Yeah.
tried the 14,400,
14?
400 in the
Yeah.
East region
Yeah.
or in October, and I'm getting 6. And you see 6 is not the right answer.
Okay, what about if you specify?
I've done the two-way, I've specified, and also I've not specified, like just highlighting the area.
Okay, it's for which month?
October in East region.
Okay, let's try that. So October this, yeah?
Yeah.
So let me put this value here. So is equals to March. So March this, then highlight the all array. That F4, F4. Just put exact match and see the value that we are getting. I'm getting 11. Yeah, it's 11.
So it means that we have now to put the exact match when we are doing now this the meaning of matching.
Yeah, you
For you
just
to get
have
the
to
correct answer.
specify.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for you to be on the safe side, because when I actually try to use without the exact match, in some instances you see it was giving the correct answer also.
Okay, and I have a question.
Yeah.
Like now the data that you have given that we are looking for, like now, let's say the first value that we had, that is 108 for 45. You know it is in June and it is central. Maybe here you're looking at data that has you have data that is has many items, that is maybe even a million or so,
Yeah.
and you don't know the figure, the exact figure that you don't know the exact place where you can get. You don't know whether it is January, whether it is March, whether it is in Central, but you have a figure that you're looking for.
Yeah.
How can you go about it?
Okay. You can
Like,
you say
like
you already have a figure.
let's say it is this 108 for 45 I'm looking for,
Uh-huh.
but since my data is so larger,
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where it is. I don't know
Yeah.
whether it is in Central. I don't know whether it is in June. So when
Okay.
I'm trying to match, how can I go about it when I don't know exactly where to find it? But I want to look for it.
Okay. So for example, it's 108 for 45, isn't it? So come here to, for example, to sales data. So you can highlight it to use control find. So you see it's telling you find what, then you just paste that value like that. So here that value is formatted in dollars. So let me just remove the formatting, and then you can find. So I don't know if in this data we have that value of 108 for 45, but let me just verify if it is there. So you go to data. Let me filter this. It was in the month of June. Let me just confirm. In the month of June. But you see, this value is actually cumulative. Remember, it's cumulative of the 2018 and 2019 data, so you cannot find it. But assuming now you have a value here in your data, and you want actually to find it, you will use the control and find, which is actually a text function in Excel. For example, you want to find a particular value. You just put that value here and then you click on find all values. So it will give you, it will go up to where that value is located. That is, supposing you have a huge data set. So for example, let me take this value, and I paste, and then I say find all. So let me remove the formatting here first. So let me take this. So I don't know why it's not giving me, but that is the way you can use to find a value. For example, you are looking for a specified value in a very large data set. So you use the find and replace, which is a text function, of which we'll come and look into that. So you can either find that value or you can replace the value that you are looking for.
Okay, Fred, the question I'm asking myself here is
Uh-huh.
why use this match? Because like now, this 108, I know it is in Central Region and I know it is in June.
Yeah.
Why go all the way to use the match function when I know I can, it's just there. I can be able to trace it. That's the question I'm asking myself.
Okay, there are some instances whereby you find this information is actually in a different sheet, and maybe your report summary is on another sheet. Just like also using the way you use the VLOOKUP, you might find that maybe the information that you want to be included maybe in sheet 1 is also found in sheet 2. So you will use the VLOOKUP to go and retrieve that information from the other sheet, that is sheet 2. Supposing now I have this information, but I have it in a different sheet. Yeah. How will you be able to retrieve that information from the given sheet? So you will have to use actually the index and also maybe the match functions. So here actually
Okay.
you know where it is, because it is a small data set. What if now you have a bigger data set? How will you be able to know that? Supposing you have many rows and you also have many columns, how will you be able to retrieve that value? For example, your manager maybe has told you he wants to know the sales that were made in maybe a certain region, maybe, and maybe it's a certain month, and you don't actually want to maybe analyze that data manually, but the shorter way that you can use is just to use this function, that is the lookup function. So you don't have to go all the way analyzing that data, so that you can just come up with one specific value. So let's move on. I believe now you are okay up to that point with the match function. So we want to go to the VLOOKUP function. So how can you use the VLOOKUP function to retrieve maybe values from a different cell or from a different worksheet? So we'll go through a couple of examples here to see how you can use VLOOKUP. So for VLOOKUP to work, you must have a common field that is common between your data set. So for example, maybe I have my regions here, and maybe I have another sheet that contains different information, but there is only one common maybe field, that is column for regions. So I can maybe use what is common in maybe sheet 1 to retrieve information from the other sheet. So we will look at both instances where information is in the same sheet and also information is in a different sheet. So let's begin by retrieving maybe when the information is in the same sheet. So is equals to VLOOKUP. So it will ask you, the first argument is the lookup value. So where is your lookup value? So my lookup value is the East region. Then it will ask you the table array. Where do you want to look at this value? So we'll just have to highlight the array in which this value is found. So the array is this. So you highlight this array like that. Put F4 here. Put F4 there. Then the other argument, now you have to specify the column index number. So for example, you want to retrieve the cells for maybe January. So in that array, you see January is column number 2. So specify the column index number 2, put a comma. You want to find an exact match. Like that. So you see it has retrieved 113, 810. So you can also do for the central region and the west region. So what you need to know when you are using the VLOOKUP, first of all, you must specify the value that you are looking for. The other step is to identify the array where that value is found. And then the other thing is to locate the column and then specify whether it's an exact match or not. So what VLOOKUP does, it actually looks for values horizontally. It's different from HLOOKUP. The HLOOKUP actually looks for value in a horizontal array, not vertical.
Fred, when you type false,
Yeah.
false we typed, yeah?
It was an option. For example, you see when I finish indicating the column index number and then I put a comma. So
Okay.
there is that argument that appears. So whether you want an approximate match or
Oh,
an exact match. So false
oh,
indicates an exact match.
okay.
Yeah, so you specify you want an exact match. So when you choose maybe approximate match, so for example, the VLOOKUP function maybe searches in your array and it doesn't find the exact answer that you are looking for. It will return a value that is close to what you are looking for. That is, when you choose a true, which means it's an approximate match. But when you choose false, it will actually retrieve the exact value that you are looking for. So like that. So, or instead of maybe uh, choosing false, you can also just type 0. So 0 stands for false and 1 stands for approximate match. So that is it with VLOOKUP.
Fred, pardon me again. Let me ask, with the formula that you entered,
Yeah,
what were we looking for exactly?
we were looking
Mm-hmm.
for the cells made in the East region
Yeah.
in the month of January, now using VLOOKUP.
And why did you choose the month?
The month, you see January, it's in this array.
Mm-hmm.
The month is in column 2,
Okay.
January.
Oh, yes, I see.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I see. Thank you. That's okay.
yeah. For example, if you want for February, it's in column 3.
Yeah.
So let me change and put here 3. See, I get now the cells for February in the East region.
It's good now.
Yeah, when I put 5 here, I get 51,600, which is the cell made in East region in the month of April.
Fred,
Yes.
kindly repeat again. There is a function that has never worked for me. It's the VLOOKUP. Because I've tried the way you've done, but I
Yeah.
still it's not applicable. So I don't know what happens.
Okay.
Just repeat again, please.
Okay. So let's begin. So we want to find the cell that were made in the east in this region, that is East, Central, and West region. But maybe you want for the month of January, isn't it? So type the function is equals to VLOOKUP. Then the first argument in the syntax is the lookup value. So specify the value that you are looking for. So one thing that you have to note when you are looking the value that you want, make sure that the value that you are looking for is common in both data set. You see now my region it's common. So the value I'm looking for is the in this cell is the East region. So when I go to my array here, that is the common region that I will use to match this data. So the lookup value here is East region, put a comma. Then the next argument is the table array. Where is your value found? So highlight the table array like this. Just put F4 here. put F4 there. Then specify now the column index number. Remember, we are retrieving the sales made in the East region in the month of January. So in the array that I've just selected, the month of January is in the second column. So I indicate it's 2. And then I want it to give me an exact match. So I choose false, or I type in 0. Yeah, have you understood the syntax?
Let me try.
Yeah, you can try and give me feedback. Yeah, just try. Have you managed?
Not applicable. And I've done exactly what you've done. I don't know.
Okay, let
Okay.
me stop sharing my screen so that you can share your screen with me. Okay, you can share now. Kigan, wewe uko sawa? Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay. Kindly share your screen. Okay, which range are you using? Okay, just scroll upwards, Carol.
I'm trying. Give me a minute, please.
Just scroll upwards because I can see only the data for agents, not for regions. Do you have the data for regions? Try typing in the formula. I see the way you are doing it. Okay, try typing in the formula. Is equals to VLOOKUP. Okay, go to array. Comma. No, okay, 2.
You have seen up to that point. I don't know where I'm going wrong.
Okay, I'm seeing that you're doing the right thing. Could just continue. Comma, the array.
It's okay up to that point.
I can see that just the syntax is okay.
Now that's where I get confused. I type exactly what you do, but from my side, I always get not applicable.
So the NA means maybe it has search and it doesn't find
Can, can I
the
can I
value
try
that you are looking
something?
for.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Could you check whether there's a space after the word east? Because I had the same issue, but I noticed there was a space after T.
Just take go to
Just
where you have the values that you are trying to reference. Go to your table where you had
no, no,
region.
at the bottom where she has written the east, central, west, just there
Yeah, maybe there could be some spaces.
after E, after T, after T. Yeah, that space. Remove it. Press enter. Yes.
Yeah, there was some space. Thank you, Ruth, for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, just to make sure there are no spaces within your text. So let's continue. So for you to find for the central region and the west region, I can just put a dollar sign here before B24 like this, so that I can autofill downwards. So I can find like this. That's for central. For west region, we did not have cell for the month of January. So when you want to maybe for the month of March, April, you will keep on changing the column number, yeah, which can be a bit tedious at times because you have to count manually the column numbers for you to be able to retrieve that data. So hope we are okay with VLOOKUP. We'll do more examples so that we can be able to maybe master it. So let's go to HLOOKUP. So we said VLOOKUP looks vertical, but HLOOKUP looks for values in an horizontal array. So let's try to look for the cell made in January for using VLOOKUP or using HLOOKUP, sorry, is equals to HLOOKUP. So the HLOOKUP, we specify now the lookup value. The syntax is the same as that for VLOOKUP. And then you will be asked to specify the table array where your values are. like that. Press F4. So you will be asked, the next argument is the row index number. Remember, in VLOOKUP, we were looking for column index number. But for HLOOKUP, we are looking at row index number. So you specify the row index number. So what we can specify in the row index number are the regions. So maybe you want the East region. So the East region is in row number 2 from the array. So it is row number 2. Then you want an exact match. So using the HLOOKUP, we've been able to retrieve that cell for the month of January using HLOOKUP. So we can do the same for February. Is equals to HLOOKUP is equals to HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP, and then the lookup value is February. So then the table array, you go and specify your table array. Yeah. Specify your table array like this. Put F4 here. F4 here. And then it will ask you for the row, the row index number. So just specify the row index number. Maybe you want it's row 3. Get the result. So just make sure you are mastering the syntax. So that's the syntax.
Fred, there a way we can do a drop down from the January? Or there we can't. For
What?
HLOOKUP. Can we do like autofill
Yeah.
for January, February, and the other months?
Let me figure out how we can do that.
Mm.
So let me do with this first. So is equals to HLOOKUP. Lookup value is this. Then specify the try the array. Sorry. So put a dollar sign before B29 because we want to autofill going downwards. And then after doing that, it will ask you for the row index number. So you see our cells are starting from row number 2. And then we want an exact match. So let's see if it can autofill. So it means something is not working here. We did not put the F4, we did not lock the column. So let us lock the rows well. So put F4 here, put F4 like this. Now let's try to autofill and see. Yeah, it's now working. So this is for the row number 2, and row number 2 is the East region. For example, if you want for the Central region, you will now change the row number. So it will be row number 3. Let us try that. So try this is row number 3. It will bring for the Central region. So let's confirm it's the correct answer. Yeah, it's 48,000 for January. So autofill this. Yeah. When you want maybe for row 4, just for example, for the West region, it's in row number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you just change the row index number to 4. Here you change this to 4. So in January, in the West region, there were no sales. See what's happening. Yeah, even in February, I can see there are no sales. I put here 3. See. Yeah. So now you can see how we can use the VLOOKUP and H lookup. So in the same worksheet, but you can also use VLOOKUP and H lookup to reference data from different worksheets. So the drawback of using VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP is that each and every time you have to change the row index number and the column index number, which is actually tedious sometimes. So this can only be covered by using the index and match, which we'll cover later. So let us look at XMatch. So XMatch actually is used to return the position of an item in an array. Yeah. So for example, if we want to search for the month of February maybe in a given range, so it will indicate the position of that month in the given array. For example, let me just remove this. Let me clear this. So is equals to XMatch. XMatch. So it is looking for this value for that month. Then the other argument is for the lookup array. The lookup array, you are looking for months. Just put F4 here. Put F4 here. And you are looking for an exact match like that. So it will return the position of the month. It's position 1. So we can do the same for February using XMatch is equals to XMatch. Then we are looking for this. Put a comma. That. Put the F4 here. F4. You want an exact match like that. So you can see it's number 2. So basically it is used to return the position of an item in a given array. So we can just put here $sign so that we can autofill this. Like that. Yeah. So that's how you can use the XMatch. So far we've covered index, we've covered match, we have covered VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP and X and match. So those are the basic lookup functions that are normally used in data analysis. So the other thing about these functions, they can be combined together. For example, you can combine index and match. You can combine VLOOKUP and match, HLOOKUP and match. So the main reason why we do match them or use them together, we understand that when you are using VLOOKUP, each and every time you have to change the column number, or when you are using the HLOOKUP, you have to change the row number each and every time. So for you to avoid that, you can use the index and match, or you use VLOOKUP and match, or use HLOOKUP and match. So next, now we are going to see how you can combine the two formulas, that is index and match, also combine VLOOKUP and match, and HLOOKUP and match. So let us do an example here. Let me just erase these ones. Let me clear this. Let me clear also these ones. Let me clear also this. I'm just clearing the contents here. So I want us now to concentrate on how you can combine the two formulas or the two lookup functions. So let me take this. Let me push it. North here. Just a moment. So that's my data the way it is. So now let us try to use index and match together and see how we can avoid the limitation of using HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. So now let's see how we can combine the index and match function to retrieve data for these months and for these regions. So type is equals to index. So when you type is equals to index, it will ask you for the array. So highlight the whole of this array like this. So after you've done that, just lock them. That is by putting F4 and F4, put a comma. After you've done that, now you introduce now the match function. So type in match. So this is a match. So we want it to match maybe the regions. So first of all, let us highlight the region. So that is the region. So because the region I want to autofill downwards, so I'll put a $sign before region like that. Then I will highlight the array where my regions lie. So my regions are here like that. And then I put here just F4, F4. After I put that, I now have to specify whether I want an exact match or not. So I want an exact match, put a 0. Then I close the bracket. Then I introduce another match function again. So remember here I have now matched the columns, that is for the regions. So that is like I'm using the HLOOKUP. So then after that, I now select the month that I want to retrieve. So I want to retrieve the cell for the East region for the month of January. So type match, another match function. Then you take it's January. So this for the months I'll have to autofill horizontally. So I put a $sign just before, just after O and before 17. And then lookup array will look this array for the months. Yeah, like that. Put F4 here, put F4 there, put a comma. You want an exact match. So then I just close the bracket like that. So that is it. So as you can see, we've been able to retrieve the cell for the East region for the month of January by combining the index and match function. So the thing is, you have to understand what each match function does. So let us start with the first match function. Here you can see the match function. Here it's referring to cell N18. So cell N18 here is the region. Then after you've selected that, you now have to highlight where that region is found. That is the array. You can see our array is from N9, this is N9, to N13. That will specify the region. And we are done with the first match function. So in the second match function, we can see it's referring to cell O17. So O17 is this cell here where my cursor is here. It's O17. And then the range is referring from N9. So this is N9 to AC9. So when I scroll to the far right, this is AC9. So this is the last cell. So and that is our last match function. After you've specified that, you just close the bracket and click enter. So with this, you can just autofill this information without changing the row number and the column number. So that is, we've actually overcome the challenge of using VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. So I can autofill horizontally, like vertically, and also horizontally. So when I autofill to the far right, you can see I have my results. Can also, let me copy this formula here for the totals. You can see the totals are here. Just autofill to the far right. That is it. So have you understood how it works, or you need any clarification regarding this? Are we okay up to that point? Ama nirudie mahali?
Please do just one more, please.
Okay. So let me remove this. Let me clear this content. Now start here by typing is equals to index. So when you type is equals to index, the first argument is the array. Specify the array. So come here, highlight all of this array like this. That is your table array. And then after you've done that, just lock that array so that it doesn't move. So after you've done that, don't specify the row number or the column number. Introduce now the match function immediately. So the match function. So this is my first match function. So I have to specify the value that I'm looking for. So I want to start by region, and I want specifically the East region first. But because I'll have to autofill these values downwards, I have to put a $sign before n, like that. Then after I've done that, I have to specify the lookup array. And my lookup array is actually the regions. So I'll specify that where my regions are. So I'll take, this is N9 to N13. That is where my value lies. That is N18. It lies in this range. So after I've done that, just put F4 so that it doesn't move when you autofill. We are locking that. So in that we want an exact match. Close the bracket, put a comma, introduce now the second match function that will capture the information horizontally, that is from the month of January up to the end where we're having the totals. So indicate now introduce the second match function like that. That is the second match function. Then indicate the value. So which value are you looking for? We are looking for this value in cell O17. So but since we have to autofill this value horizontally, so put a $sign after O like that, and then specify the lookup array where you want where this value lies. So you specify from the region going like this up to that point, that is N9 to AC9. Put F4, to lock like that, and then it's an exact match, and then close the bracket like that. So we are done, just click enter. So that's the result. So you can autofill this to get the cells for the various regions like that, also for the various months, and for you to get the cells for the year and the totals like that. Copy this, maybe this formula, and autofill to the right like that. So are you okay up to that point? Ruth? Keegan, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Hope now you know how to you can combine the index and match together. So let's see how you can can combine VLOOKUP and match. So type is equals to VLOOKUP is equals to VLOOKUP. So we are looking for this lookup value, that's N25, but we'll have to autofill it downwards, so put a $sign before N25. Then you'll be asked to indicate the table array. Get the table array. Put F4 here. Put F4 there. So here you don't have to indicate now the column index number. So now just indicate now the match function. So the match function is this. Put a $sign here, comma, then highlight the array. Like that. Put F4. Put F4. Comma, you want an exact match. That. I'm done. So let us analyze now how this formula. So the first thing is for you to indicate the lookup value. So my lookup value was N25, which is the east region. Then I specify the array. My array is from N9. This is N9. The value is from N9 to AC13. Then after I've done that, I now introduce the match function. So the match function is O24 in my case. So when you see here O24 is the month of January, and then the array is from N9 to AC9. So N9 is here, and then AC9 is to the far right here. We have the totals. And then you will want actually an exact match, and then you specify it's an exact match for the VLOOKUP as well, and then just press enter. So let's see if you can autofill this. Autofill like that. Yeah, you can actually autofill. So autofill this, can autofill like that. Just expanding the columns for you to see the result. So maybe any question up to that point on VLOOKUP and match where you've not understood?
For me, Fred, I'm okay, but I'm going to request that maybe you share the Excel up to where we are now, so that we can just do a review.
Okay, I'll do.
Actually, Fred, when we are sharing today's, kindly
Yeah.
remember to share yesterday's.
Recordings.
Yes, get the recordings, kindly, because they will help us to revise.
Okay, sure. So that is it on VLOOKUP and match. So then we can do the same using HLOOKUP. So I just copy this. Yes. Now let's now use the HLOOKUP and see how you can combine it with match. Is equals to HLOOKUP. So you are looking up for N32 here, which is the East region. Put a $sign because you'll have to autofill downwards. And then it will ask you for the table array. So our table array is here. Like that. Put F4 here. Put another F4 there. So after you've done that, you introduce now the match function. The match function. So it will ask you for the match, for the lookup value. So indicate it's this. And then it will also ask you for the lookup array. Specify the lookup array like this. Put F4 here. Put F4 here. And then we want an exact match. Just close the bracket. Put an exact match also here. Sorry, it is bringing an NA. Okay, let me review it. So we're looking at, let's say we are looking at this value, which we'll have to autofill out horizontally. And then it's in which array? It's in this array. And then put a F4 here. Put F4 there. Then now introduce the match function. So the match value is this. I put a $sign before N32, like that. Then specify now the array where that value is found. Let's take this, put F4 here, put F4 here, and then we want an exact match. Close, put a comma here. Yes, it's now bringing. So let's see if we can autofill this. Yes, we can. You can autofill it. So let me just format this. That's it. That's how we can combine the HLOOKUP and the match function. So you can decide to use the one that you are comfortable with. So either you use HLOOKUP and match, VLOOKUP and match, index and match. You see, we use all the three to retrieve the same information. So any question up to that point regarding HLOOKUP and match? Kigan, are we together?
Yeah, we are together.
Yeah, so you can play along with those VLOOKUP and match function, HLOOKUP, index and match. All of them, they are very actually useful when you are cross-referencing your data that is maybe in a different location. So you can use this function to retrieve that data. So to some extent it looks complex, but the main thing that you have to do is you have to understand your formula and what each formula is doing. So it's not a matter of cramming the formula, it's a matter of understanding the formula. So with that, you can customize your formulas to get the result that you want. So that is it. That is the index and match, VLOOKUP and match, HLOOKUP and match. So another thing, you can, for example, let's say this information is in a different sheet. So this is a different sheet and we have this data in this sheet. How can you actually retrieve this data from this sheet? So let us try and see how we can do that. Now this data we want this data to be in a different sheet, this sheet for index and match. So how can we do that? So this information is in the lookup function sheet. It's here. This data is here.
Share your screen, please.
So I'm saying my data is in different worksheets. So the current worksheet where my data is, it's in the lookup functions sheet. Now what I want to retrieve this information or this data to be in the index and match sheet. So how can we do that using index and match, or using VLOOKUP and match, or HLOOKUP and match? So let us try to do that and see how we can go about it. So type is equals to index.
Fred, I don't know whether it is just me,
Yeah, you can see
but
my screen.
I can see,
Yeah.
but my brain has shut.
What about the rest?
I think it's freezing. We didn't see the formula you're putting in from my end.
Okay. Can we, maybe we are a bit tired. Maybe we can reserve this for tomorrow.
I think we have received lots of formulas today.
Yeah, we can as well do it tomorrow. Yeah, you know, these things.
A humble request.
Yeah.
A humble request.
Yes. Yes.
Carol, you're on mute.
No, I'm saying a
Yeah.
humble request that we can do the rest tomorrow, because we have received so many formulas today. We need to practice so that even when now we're going to get data from different worksheets, at least we understand better.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Don't forget to share the exam.
Sure. I'll do it right away.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's preserve that for tomorrow. So I think tomorrow we will do more and more examples. So you know these, so that we can see how you can apply it in different data sets. So we'll just do the same thing tomorrow, but maybe we'll do retrieving data from a different sheet, and then we maybe analyze a different data set using the same formulas and see how we can go about it. I think with that you will have maybe gain a grasp of these formulas. I know they can be daunting at first, but once you practice them, you can actually master them. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Fred.
Okay. Thank you. So let's call it a day for today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's meet tomorrow.